We're going to get the meeting underway. Thank you all, and the turnout is amazing. Before we do anything further, I'd like everyone to pay attention to the American flag in the right corner. If you could all stand and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Now so tonight's meeting was not going to have everything to say with national anthem. However,
I try to say it short, take it. My stomach is
John, they have no idea what they're missing.
You will be very sorry.
You want to do it? I feel free.
Burn all night.
Is that a yes?
Yes, I think it is.
Everybody, please join. I have pizza in my mouth, but we're going to do fabulous.
We're also going to have the national anthem tonight.
Oh, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets spread glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? God bless America! I had no idea that was Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Again, thank you all for attending tonight. I am very, very excited and very happy to announce this is the first public meeting of the Donald J. Trump Kings County Republican Club. This club is going to be a complete welding, merging of the MAGA and MAHA movements, a momentum that is taking the nation by storm, right? There's absolutely no reason why everyone in this country at a bipartisan level cannot imagine America being great. There's not a reason why everyone at a bipartisan level can't imagine America being healthy. These are two concepts that will unite this club and keep us moving forward within New York City, within Brooklyn, the borough, within the state of New York. And I really hope we can all work together to make MAGA and MAHA great and amazing in New York. Thank you. So, as part of the people up here at this table, my executive committee, I am going to introduce, right here is Rachel Maniscalco. Rachel, you want to just give a few words about yourself?
Hi, everybody. Some of you know me, some of you don't. My name is Rachel. I've been working with Jimmy on a multitude of projects for the last few years, most of which at this point have centered around reinstate and compensate, and that's going to be our first and foremost priority. I was a teacher for the Department of Education for 10 years. I didn't get the COVID shot. I was fired. I was fired when my daughter was 2 months old. She's gonna be 4. My husband is
True story.
disabled. And it's been a really, really tough haul. But I met Jimmy at a Knights of Columbus just like this, when Bill Pepitone was running for mayor, and we both backed him wholeheartedly. And we teamed up, and we had a bunch of lawsuits. And unfortunately, the justice system, we believe, is really compromised. And so, what were the next steps? This is it. This is the next step to circumvent those terrible decisions that we faced in the courts. So that's going to be a number one priority for the club, among other things. And again, these are not partisan issues. Due process for municipal workers, that's our right. And that is not a partisan issue. So, you know, some people have asked me, like, why did Donald J. Trump name? Well, because that's the momentum right now. And that's the movement right now. And it's not just him. It's people who were lifelong Democrats, like Jim, and lifelong Republicans, like me, coming together and making it great again, and healthy again, and better and safer for our kids. And so I love being here. I love being a part of this. Jimmy is a man of integrity. I said that from day one. One of the very few lawyers whom I've trusted. And I'm going to be taking over the social media. And I have a 3-year-old and a 13-year-old and 2 jobs. So the social media aspect is coming, I promise. But we're going to build it, and we're going to make this club great.
I'd also like to introduce Nicole Sarah Gonzalez.
Also helping with websites and things like that. But, you know, I say, I always have the gift of God, and He gave me the gift of Jimmy to protect my rights as a teacher who didn't want to be vaccinated as well. And I lost my job for 2 years, but I was never terminated because Jimmy is amazing. And I was on leave without pay, and I was put back in a position. I left. But not everybody was as lucky as I was, because there are so many people that still don't have their job, people who were about to retire that had to leave and then come back and not have tenure. Come back to a new job without their tenure. And like, really, at this point, does tenure exist? Because we all didn't have our rights as a tenured teacher. So that is my gift from God is Jimmy, and I hope you all just really come, because I think this is where we are in charge, right? Not the government. Like, the government is supposed to go with our beliefs and not the other way around. They're not supposed to control us. So I think what Jimmy's doing is amazing, and I hope you guys all come and really support and see. Make America great again. Make us healthy again.
As an attorney, just to refocus on the inequities of our legal system, to my left is Rachel Maniscalco. She has not gotten her job back. She was a tenured teacher, terminated. To my right was Nicole. After 2 years, I was able to get her job back. Under our legal system, they both should be working. Both of them were tenured teachers. The law stated you shall not remove a tenured teacher without due process. Neither one of them got due process. I was able to convince one judge that Nicole should get her job back, and Rachel's judge said no. We went to the Court of Appeals. I want to let every single city worker in here understand what the Court of Appeals has said. The city of New York is allowed to impose a post-hire condition of employment. What does that mean? Something that's outside the four corners of your CBA, outside your contract. If the city doesn't want you to work, you're not going to work anymore. Your unions failed you. The city failed you. The only way to restore yourself is through this club, and what we're going to do, and we're going to get politicians elected that will pass the legislation to reinstate and compensate. The city has billions of dollars for illegal immigrants, but they have no money for the workers who were heroes. They were given a parade during the summer and then fired in September. And this was firemen, this was police, this was sanitation, this was teachers. Like, what was done to city workers is something that can never happen again in New York City. And do not let anyone tell you that the Democrats are protecting working class people, because the Democrats are not. And as Rachel stated, I was a Democrat my entire life. I've recently converted to becoming a Republican. Thank you. Barsamian has been, and the Republicans of Kings County have been nothing but opening, welcoming, and supportive of everything we're doing. Thank you again, Chairman.
My honor.
So, tonight, we're gonna have 3 guest speakers. One of them is running late. Our first guest speaker is gonna be the Kings County Chairman. Our second guest speaker, Jen. Jen's in the back. Our third guest speaker will be Athena. And our fourth guest speaker will be Mr. Lewis, who I've just been introduced to today. How are you, sir? Thank you. I want to also, my apologies, the fourth member of our executive committee, he's a new member of the executive committee of the Donald J. Trump Kings County Republican Club, is David. David is the new director. And we have a lot more volunteer spots left. Anyone who's interested, you can speak to us afterwards. We're looking for someone to do financially audit our books. We're looking for someone to help us run a Get Out the Vote program. We're looking for somebody to run a community outreach. We have somebody would like to be a policy advocate beyond Reinstate and Compensate. We're going to put together so many different policies that reflect and represent working class New York City residents, and we want that to be complete and really reflective of New York values and New York culture. The last thing I'm looking for is an assistant club leader. So if anyone has a lot of free time and wants to do a lot of free work, feel free to reach out to me, and we can make use of that. So as of right now, I'd like to introduce Richie Barsamian, Kings County.
Ray, good evening. Good to see you in the back there. Everyone, good evening.
Good evening.
It is a distinct honor and a pleasure for me to be here tonight. My name is Richie Barsamian, and I am the chairman of the Kings County Republican Party. Before I say a few words about what unifies each and every one of us, I want to say a gigantic thank you and take my hat off to a man many months ago who came to me with papers and papers of thoughts and ideas. And he has since become a valuable friend to me, someone who has made it clear that he is a person of honor and integrity. He has brought people to join us in a common cause. And you know what that cause is, ladies and gentlemen? We are in this to protect each other and to protect our constitutional safeguards. Please, everyone, a round of applause for Jimmy Wagner. This has been an amazing year for us because in southern Brooklyn, we have painted the whole area red. We have put into office many R's. Of course, R means Republican, but even more important than the word Republican, in the case of the elected officials we have today, R means responsible. So we are here tonight, I, my Republican colleagues, to say to you, do not get caught up, do not get hung up on division. Do not let anyone, because believe me, they seek to do this every minute of every day. Guess what? I have no problem whatsoever with Democrats. I embrace them. I welcome them because we're able to communicate and figure out what our disagreements are to find a common avenue. But I will not ever allow people to hijack the Democrat Party, the Republican Party, the Conservative Party, or any other party with the ideas of progressives and socialism. Socialism does not exist. This is the United States of America. This is the state of New York. We are a nation of guaranteed inalienable rights. We are a nation driven by constitutional safeguards. This is no home for socialists. This is no home for progressive individuals or parties. So take your ideas and go somewhere else. To those of you who are frustrated, to those of you who have pursued many Article 78s with Attorney Wagner. To those of you who are feeling deep frustration, deep inside your chest, I come to you tonight and I say to you, even if you wish to stay a Democrat, but I welcome you as a Republican, join us. Join us in exercising the greatest power that we all share as Americans and as very special Americans, New Yorkers. And that is the power of democracy and the power of our vote. Together, we can make a gigantic difference. I bring to your attention that just a couple years ago, we did not have Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis. We did not have Assemblyman Alec Brooke-Krasny. We did not have Assemblyman Michael Novikov. We did not have Assemblyman Lester Chang. We have all of them returned to office. And you know why? It's not just conservatives. It's not just Democrats, Patrick. It's not just Republicans. It's like-minded New Yorkers who are sick and tired of being told who they should support. They made a decision to return responsible public servants, not politicians, not people who are only there when there is a microphone, Bella, but people who care about the community, that have a passion for each and every one of us. And I believe he's on the way right now, or so I'm told. The icing on our cake of responsibility, on our cake of freedom, is the recent election of a great man, also a dear friend to me, Senator Steve Chan, who should be with us. He's on the way. A few more seconds, a few more moments as the chairman, and then I switch hats and discuss my individual race for the New York City Council in District 47. So let's go back a little while. Just a couple years ago, at 7 o'clock at night, or was it 7:30? 7 or 7:30? 7:30, 1930. We would be celebrated. People would go to their fire escapes and clap their hands, take spoons and hit pots and pans, and tell New York City civil servants how much they love them, how they're heroes. Well, wait a minute. What happened to hero firefighters, hero police officers, hero sanitation workers, corrections officers, New York City teachers who really are the family of a growing child for hours and hours every day and help form the future of our great city? You know what happened to them? They made a decision for their own well-being and a personal one, of the sovereignty of their own body. They chose not to take a vaccination, so they went from being heroes, Rachel, to being unemployed. So one day we're celebrating them, and the next day they can't pay their mortgage. Did we allow them due process rights? No. Instead, we turned our back on them. These are people that make New York City work. These are people that make our great state work in every corner, in every area. But they suffered greatly. So I am here tonight as the chairman. In a moment, I'll switch hats to be city council candidate. But I want to make this clear to the founder and to each and every person in this room. I don't care what your party is. I don't care if you're an independent, conservative, moderate Republican. I don't care if you're part of the Cheesecake Party. Honey, remind me, I want to form that party, okay? The most important thing that we need to understand is we have allowed our great public servants, our civil servants, we have failed so many of them, because we now will fight. But we're not just using our legal system, we're using the tool of democracy, and that's the power of the vote. Because we must reinstate and compensate. Join me. Reinstate and compensate. There is no option. There is no alternative. We will not permit a city to exist with the greatness of New York, to tell people, we love you. I'm sorry, you don't want to put a needle in your arm, you're out of a job. Good luck, move to a shelter. That's not how it works. We also must protect our safeguards. A great gentleman has entered the room, and I have to tell you, full disclosure, he's also a dear friend to me. He's also a former member of my NYPD family, and I'm a member of his, Senator Steve Chan. We will fight, and we will have a struggle. But in every corner of our city, in every race, we will not accept no. We will not accept excuses that, well, let's see what happens in the court system. No. Those who don't understand individual freedoms, guaranteed safeguards, those who don't understand two magical words, due process, we will vote them out of office. We will do it unified. We will do it from every socioeconomic standing of our city, from every building and from every house. And they will see what happens, which they don't want to happen. They will see what happens when Democrats and Republicans and conservatives and libertarians and liberals join together, because they see the power of the common good. So now I change hats, ladies and gentlemen, and I am now talking to you. Please hold my hat, sir. I am now talking to you about the very handsome man you see on the flyers on your table. And that happens to be me. I am Richie Barsamian, and I am running for New York City Council to represent Bay Ridge, Seagate, and Coney Island.
Excellent.
I am asking for your support. I am asking for the honor to be bestowed upon me to represent you, to be the voice of common sense in the New York City Council, to partner with anyone of any party who believes in what I believe in, and it's in every ounce of who I am. We are blessed because we live in the greatest city, in the greatest state, in the greatest nation in the world.
Amen.
And we're not just Americans, ladies and gentlemen, but we're very special Americans. We are New Yorkers. And I am running, and have been running. Someone asked me recently, well, when did you start your campaign? Is it 2 weeks ago? No. 3 months ago? No. I'll tell you when I started my campaign. I didn't know the word campaign, Senator Chan. What I started in my heart was a love of serving people, a love of public service. And 3.5 decades ago, I made a commitment. I raised my hand to join the NYPD. My brothers and sisters of the finest, who every day sacrifice their life anonymously when you call 911. And by the way, they don't ask you what party you belong to. They don't ask you what your wealth is. They respond like all of our heroes, like the firemen who run into. Can you imagine a job description? Yeah, you're going to be on a very, very large red truck. Okay, then what? Then you're going to run into a burning building. How many of you would say, that sounds like a lot of fun? What a great job description. But that's what we do, because we love the city. So 3.5 decades ago, ladies and gentlemen, I raised my hand and I took an oath. I may have retired from the NYPD, but I did not retire from my commitment to each and every one of you. My hand is still raised. I continue the oath to preserve, to protect, and to honor the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, and the people of the City of New York. So I am running, thank you. I am running for the 47th Council District, and I have a few ideas. I'll very briefly let you know about them. They're listed on the flyer. In a few days, our social media sites will be up. Our website will be up and running. So here is the question I have to ask you. We're not here to attack anyone, but we're here to discuss what thoughts, what ideas are we hearing from representatives in the City Council. You hear the silence? That's what I hear, and that's why I'm running, ladies and gentlemen, because it seems just recently we were told we have no money, but yet we're able to find money for things that we don't all agree upon. So here is a statement. If I am sent to the New York City Council to represent the communities I mentioned, Bay Ridge, Coney Island, and Seagate, I make you this promise tonight. I will push very, very hard, immediately, to hire 5,000 or more members of the NYPD. Non-stop, because we demand that safety, we demand that reinstatement of our quality of life. And by the way, for those who say, oh, you know, the big guy, he's just talking, he's very pro-police. Of course I am. Police officers and firefighters and sanitation workers, court officers, corrections officers, these are our heroes. But I ask you this question. Does anyone know who it was that brought the NYPD headcount at one time to over 40,000? And by the way, we're close to 32,000 tonight. Does anyone know who that person was? It was a long, long time ago. I know.
Giuliani.
I'm sorry to tell you, as great as Rudy Giuliani was, as the mayor of America. It was a decision made by a Democrat,
Ed Koch.
Peter Vallone Sr. He initiated Safe Streets, Safe City, because just like we are right now, our city was gripped in fear, and our city was gripped in crime. And the decision was made, so ladies and gentlemen, we can do it. We just need a powerful voice. We need to unify. In addition to the immediate hiring of police officers with our next mayor, and a man I endorsed and who endorsed me, Curtis Sliwa, by the way, because we will be together in every corner of the city. I also call immediately for my SPA, Senior Plan of Action. First and foremost, who is the foundation of our city? And the answer is our senior community, our communities of senior citizens. Older New Yorkers have paid the price. They have laid the foundation for our great city. But yet, we can't seem to locate money to open up more senior centers. So again, it's not about allocation of funds. It's about being a strong voice for our senior community. My promise, and it's laid out on my platform, Senior Plan of Action, public safety, more senior centers. I will work with the NYPD to create corridors of safety so that our elder community has a right to go certain days, certain hours. We will guarantee their safety on the way to the senior center, where, Senator Chan, an NYPD police officer will be stationed. We have the ability to do it. We will do it, because if you bring me to office, I have the will to do it. Part of that senior plan of action is also something that I don't understand. Nobody talks about it. We are in a position as a city, with our wealth, with our success, Jim, to offer free transportation, and most seniors have said to me they prefer the bus. So my plan is a very simple one. We find money for everything else. Let's guarantee, and I will introduce legislation to do it, that all New Yorkers 65 and over will be given free, I repeat, free access to the New York City transit system, especially the bus network. They seem to prefer riding above ground. So people say to me, but Richie, the older community members of our city have half fare. I say, half is not enough when they've given 100% to our city in responsibility and taxes. It's time we know what to do and we get it done. So I have a plan of action. I ask for your support. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Richie Barsamian, and I would like you to please give me the honor of representing you in the New York City Council in District 47. And I thank you for this amazing opportunity. I now have another honor. I do it all the time because he's someone who, like me, understands the magic of New York City. Would you please give an incredible welcome to my dear friend, our new state senator, and a man who is not just an NYPD veteran, but a veteran of our armed services as a U.S. Marine. Please put your hands together for Senator Steve Chan.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for waiting for me. I'm sorry I'm late. So, talk about being late. My daughter, she goes to Staten Island Tech. Out of home merit, not because somebody pointed a finger at her and says, oh, you know what, this kid is underprivileged, let's send her to Staten Island Tech. No. She grew up with very good habits. We studied a little bit every day. It doesn't take a lot. It's habit. It's habit. She's in Staten Island Tech. So the other day I was running late. I had to go to Staten Island Tech. And I'm taking the ferry over there. And I see the boat about 10, 15 feet away from the dock. And now I'm beginning to run. I'm running down the gangplank. I'm like going full speed. Right? I'm still in pretty good shape after the Marines and NYPD, right? I leap over 10 feet of water. I crash land on the deck of the Staten Island ferry. I hit my knee on the ground. I get up holding my knee and I went like this, made it. And the deckhand comes over to me and says, what's your hurry? This boat's coming in. There is a moral to the story. The moral of the story is, you're not too late. You're not too late. And by that I mean it's not too late for Richie to run for city council. It's not too late for any Republican to run for anything. And and when people look at our candidates and say, hey, Republicans can't win in New York. When you say that, that's when we're not gonna win. And I never said that during my campaign. We're in the Democratic district, and I overcame that obstacle, and I defeated an incumbent by a landslide. I want everybody to know that yes, Republicans can win with common sense, with the kind of ferocity that I put into my campaign. Richard can win, Louis here can win, and I want to talk about yesterday in Albany. So I was very late coming back from late again. Coming back from Albany yesterday because I was sitting in a budget hearing and they were talking about the jobs. On the stand was the Commissioner Knight of the Empire Development Center Corporation, Empire Development Corporation. And so the senators and assemblymen that questioned her prior to me was throwing her brown balls. We had other assemblymen and senators telling her what a great job she's doing, what a great job New York State is doing. When I have the stats in front of me of how many jobs we're losing, how many corporations are fleeing the state and the city, and the outbound traffic of all the U-Haul trucks and no inbound traffic. We're losing tax base, we're losing companies, we're losing jobs. So that kind of enticed me to want to stay there at that hearing, and that hearing was about 8 hours long, by the way. I stayed there just so I could question her. So I asked her, what have you done? If I was the CEO of a company, medium or large size company, what's the incentive? What's the allure for me? And it's on my Facebook page, by the way. You can see that whole exchange. What's the allure for me to move my company to New York and contribute to the economy? She started doing the Kamala Harris salad. I cut her off. She says, oh, you know, we offer tax incentives and we're gonna have a team to help these corporations get into place. I mean, you mean like every other state? Like Texas, who was consistently rated the #1 state for business. I said, didn't we chase away Amazon like the way we offered it to Amazon? She was very quick to say, well, that wasn't me. And I said, no, I'm not blaming you. But now the senator before me was praising like the casinos and stuff. He's an advocate. I'm not gonna name names. He was an advocate for the casinos in New York. And I said, do you think it's a great idea to chase away Amazon headquarters, who's gonna bring in thousands of quality jobs and jobs outside of its premises, and open casinos? Do you think that's a great idea? I know what you're thinking. She goes, oh, well, you know, we gotta think of the tourism. I said, tourism, I see, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking of Las Vegas. What I felt like saying is, we're gonna get Bangkok. We're gonna get the Philippines, right? But what I did say was, we're gonna get Aqueduct.
Atlantic City.
Aqueduct, Amazon. Think about that for a second, okay? So, right now, I'm forging a lot of friendships in Albany, right? South Brooklyn is in a very unique position where we have Democrats and Republicans working together. We're seeing eye to eye, and it's a beautiful thing. New York City is envious of South Brooklyn. How? And everybody, I see it on Facebook, on WeChat, WhatsApp. They're saying, how come South Brooklyn can have 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats do everything together and stand together and fight for the neighborhood, and we can't? Well, the answer is yes, they can. They just have to wake up and put the right people in place, just like we are putting the right people in place right here, right now. And some of those right people are right here in this room. We got Louis here, we got Richie over there. We need to get the word out. We need to tell our fellow citizens here, no matter whether they're Democrats or Republicans, that there are people who care about us. There are people who care about our neighborhood, and we got to get them in the right place. And once they're in the right place, they can forge friendships. Yes, what can Republicans do in the state senate, where there's only 22 of us, and there's 41 of them, right? Well, I'm forging a lot of friendships with the other Democrat senators in Brooklyn. We see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we do stand together. What the public doesn't see is the bickering that goes on, the debates on the Senate floor. But at the same time, what the public doesn't see is the friendships that are being forged. Who says I can't be friends with a black female senator from Canarsie? Yes, I can, and I am friends with her. And we see eye to eye on a lot of issues too. So you know, that's a misconception that you know, we can't work together. Yes, we can. And anybody who says we can't work together, then we can't work together. Who's that? The progressives. The progressives. So there is a lot of common sense Democrats. Again, I welcome you to this event over here, and I want everybody to know that Curtis supported me, so I'm a lawyer. You know, I don't like to call myself a politician, because a politician, I would turn around and stab him in the back. Right? And that's something that I would not do. Talk about campaigning. I want to mention Richie's campaign. He said he started his campaign 3.5 decades ago. Well, you know what? I started my campaign when I was about 12 years old. I didn't know I was campaigning when I went to work in a sweatshop, putting buttons on jackets and shirts or steam pressing. I didn't know I was campaigning when I went to Chelsea Station down on 95th Street to wash dishes when I was 16 years old. I didn't know I was campaigning when I went to work in the X-Acto plastic factory in Long Island City. Or I didn't know I was campaigning when I went to battle in the United States Marines. I didn't know I was campaigning when I went to the NYPD or served as PTA president in the co-op over here and in the SLT and PS 112. But you know what? When I stepped out and the neighbors saw that Steve Chen, and a lot of them knew me already, when they saw, hey, that guy is running for Senate, guess what? He wore the same shoes as me. He did the same thing I did. I'm voting for him. I'm voting for him. I'm voting for that guy. Well, you know what? Now Richard is that guy and Louis is that guy. So, please, get the word out there, and thank you for coming.
Excuse me a moment. Senator Chen, thank you so much, my dear friend. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the evening, or maybe before, what you all can do, what you all should do, and we are asking you to do, in order to get responsible elected officials, and here's one of them right here, to office, we need to petition, we need to gather signatures, we need to offer support. And in that vein, I would like to introduce Jennifer Moore to discuss petitioning, gathering signatures, walking throughout the community. And all this will result in people that you want to shake things up and to represent you. Jen, could you give us a couple moments on petitioning? And see her at the end, Jill Thank you, Jim.
Hello, I am Jen Moore. I am, like the chairman, currently wearing 2 hats because I am the secretary of the Brooklyn Republican Party. And I'm also the chairman's campaign manager for his campaign in the city council in November. So, he asked me to talk a little bit about the importance of the grassroots effort and the volunteers. Right now is the part of the election cycle of petitioning, which is where we get signatures to qualify our candidates for the ballots. So we need volunteers, registered Republicans in New York State, to help us collect those signatures from other registered Republicans in the districts of the candidates that are on the petitions. So if you'd like to volunteer, you can see myself or Steve. Raise your hands. Steve back there, Svetlana, and Abigail. They can get you signed up and explain the process a little more. It's basically approaching people, asking them to please help get our candidates on the ballot by signing. The number of signatures you need is dependent on your office. So city council needs about 500, citywide offices need about 3,750 in the Republican Party. And I'm not sure what the borough-wide candidates need. 2,000? And the borough president candidate needs 2,000 in the borough. So this is super important right now because if we don't put them on the ballot, we can't vote them. So it's literally the most important part of the election cycle. So anybody who can help us out with this, it would be great. If you can't help out right now, but you think you might want to volunteer further down the road, closer to election day during early voting, also see any of the same people, let us know your address and phone number, and we'll reach out and let you know where you can help us the most around that time. Okay?
Thank you, Jen.
Just in furtherance of what Jen was saying, on every table, there's 2 clipboards. One of those clipboards says petitioning volunteers March 2025. It's an automated QR code. All you need to do is click it, fill in your information. Jen or somebody from her team will reach out to you. You just need 1 day, 4 hours, 100 signatures. Everyone in this room has 100 friends that believe in the cause and get that done, get that signed. If in fact you don't like using QR codes, feel free to just write in. You can write your information in, someone will contact you. The next person I'd like to introduce is the Donald J. Trump Kings County Republican Club first homegrown candidate, our first MAGA and MAHA meld candidate, Athena Clarke, come, Miss Clarke.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
I don't speak really loud, but I'm going to try my best. So as Jim said, my name is Athena Clarke. I want to say thank you all for taking the time out to come here tonight. It is truly, truly appreciated. I am running for councilwoman for District 46 in Brooklyn. I'm here tonight for many reasons, one of which is because my attorney, Jim Wagner, refuses to take no for an answer. Jim refuses to comply with rulings he knows in his heart to be unjust. He is a lawyer that will exhaust all options and comes up with new strategies to ultimately get the job done. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen our local government ignore the individual rights of people. They took advantage of uncertain times to grab more power for themselves that they never intended to give back. The job now is to take it back. That's what Jimmy, myself, and every freedom-loving New Yorker here intends to do. I, like many of you, am a victim of the COVID vaccine mandate. Many of us had our livelihoods forcibly removed or were coerced into taking a pharmaceutical product of which we had no idea what the long-term effects would be. This happened all in a social climate that many individuals use words like consent or phrases like my body, my choice, when it suits their narrative and agenda. Neither of those options were given to us. We tried in earnest to exercise our rights and refuse this treatment. As a tenured teacher, I was fired without a second thought. No union, no contracts, and no rights protected our job, and no one was there to help us fight. We committed no crime, violated no conditions of employment, but were told that employers can demand anything as a condition of employment at any point. I am not a politician. I am a New Yorker. I pay my dues to this city. Our current elected officials forgot what their core responsibilities are and who they are to represent. Running for city council is my way of fighting back, taking action, and righting the wrongs that were done to us. We have to defend our rights to due process, our rights as parents, and our ability to have a New York that we can be proud of. We need to remind government officials that they work for us. We need to take our power back and use it to remove politicians who are not listening and not representing us. We need to continue to fight until we are reinstated and compensated.
Thank you so much, everybody. Now we're moving on to our next city council first candidate. My apologies, Rachel. Thank you. Louis, please.
Love seeing so many first-time politicians and officials here. I just want to start off by thanking Jimmy for the opportunity to speak tonight, for Nicole, Rachel for organizing the event, Anthony Tovey for his great rendition at the beginning of this.
Thank you.
I too, I'm not a career politician. I've actually spent the last 15 years working for global banks, mushing global teams and leaders to a common cause. But I was really compelled to run when I just saw the condition of my neighborhood and there was an incident. My mother was actually followed home after a doctor's appointment. She was leaving the subway station and a homeless man followed her about 4 or 5 blocks screaming obscenities and just, just being a real jerk. Fortunately, my father was there to intervene before anything bad happened, before she arrived home. But not many are fortunate to have that intervention, right? And these types of scenes happen across our city on a daily basis. So that moment remains with me today as I take on the current councilwoman who has promised the community the world, but effectively has transformed our community into a dumping ground. The 38th district actually spans Red Hook, Sunset Park, Dyker. So welcome to my district. We have the second highest count of migrant beds in the city. She's ensuring that these facilities are crammed into our neighborhood. I don't know if the other day you guys heard that they closed down the Roosevelt Hotel.
Yeah, they opened 3 more.
So what they didn't mention is that they are going to open up a migrant shelter in my community now, right? It's Steve Chan's district as well, right? So they left that part out. She's hosted trainings for migrants to teach them how to sue their employers, or pretty much anybody, to get legal status. I don't know if you guys know, but if a migrant has an open case, it prevents them from being deported until the case actually carries out. So, yeah, it's disgraceful. You might imagine that, an American elected official teaching foreigners how to weaponize our own legal system against us. It's disgraceful, it's treasonous.
Guantanamo Bay.
The other side, right? You bring up these issues and they call you a racist, right, for bringing it up. But the reality is, I've had Spanish-speaking Guatemalan Mexican store owners coming to me to complain about the Mexican and Guatemalan migrants selling illegally in front of their store. It's not a question about race, it's a question about the law, it's a question about public safety, it's a question about fairness. Ironically, many of the same migrants she's housing are actually escaping the failures of socialism in Venezuela.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's true. We at the end of it, we have to stop taxpayer waste. The Democrats are pissing away billions of dollars in your taxpayer dollar every year. Do you guys know why you have to pay for congestion pricing? Back in 2021, they actually opened Grand Central Madison. It was the culmination of the East Side Access Project, where they spent $11 billion to lay 2 miles of track to bring LIRR trains into Grand Central Station. It's the most expensive mile per rail mile in history. As of 2023, they average about 88,000 riders per day. If you do the math, that comes to 125 grand per commuter. I'm sorry, but they could walk a couple of blocks to get to the east side for that money. Right? So they have the money for these nonsense projects, but they don't have the money to extend the 2nd Avenue line into Harlem. They don't have the money to create the Interborough Express that are going to help communities of color. They don't have money for this. And it's a shame. And at the end of the day, you look at Donald Trump's election. Donald Trump won communities of color by margins not seen in a generation, right? So a lot of communities of color are seeing through this, right? They're seeing that they're not getting the fair shake, right? So we have to deliver on that. I plan to deliver on that. They just spent $500 million in our district to create the Bush Terminal on the waterfront. This is a new campus of targeting green industries and artisans and creators and the like. First of all, green industry doesn't want to come to New York City. You've made it too expensive for them to operate. The margins are too low. They're not going to show up. They want to create the space for creators and artisans. We don't need any more influencers, any more creators. We need HVAC technicians. We need plumbers. We need electricians. Part of my campaign, part of my platform will be to identify these do-nothing nonprofits, to identify these wasteful projects, and to put an end to it. We need to reinvest in our youth. We need to prepare them for the economy of tomorrow. History shows us that whenever our youth have too much time, when they're not employed, it's a recipe for social unrest, right? All you have to do is look at the Arab Spring as an example of that, right? So we need to stop all this nonsense spending, reinvest it in our communities. I don't want to I don't want you to support me because the other candidates are so terrible, but they really are. I want your support because of the strength of my ideas and my relentless pursuit in the goals. With your full support, I know we can win in November. Thank you.
As the chairman of the Republican Party, I just want to point out something. First for Luis. Luis is the officially endorsed candidate for City Council District 38 of the Republican Party, and of course, the Kings County Conservative Party. And I also share the honor that I am the endorsed candidate of the Republican Party, and thanks to Chair Fran Villamarone and her executive committee, I also have the honor of being the endorsed candidate of the Brooklyn Conservative Party.
The senator has asked to say one more word, so we're gonna let him take the podium.
Yeah, I just wanted to build on what Louis over here said, that he has, he has members of the Hispanic community complaining to him about the Hispanics. So, when I won the election, CNN of all people, CNN called me up and they said, Steve, how did you win? What did you do? Please come down here, I'll show you what I did. So they came down here and they spent 3 hours walking around Dyker Heights, around this area. I introduced them to a very special neighbor. The name is Julia Guaman and Silvana Guaman. And their daughters on my staff now, Allison. Are from Ecuador. Entered the country with parole, illegally. They are the epitome of the American dream. And they told CNN, reality. And they told it like it is, and they're sick of what's happening here. They built their lives over here. Great, smart, beautiful daughters going to great schools. And this, Allison's going to go to SUNY Albany next year. She's going to be in learning for me in my Albany all Barsamian. But the point is, right, that we're not targeting anybody by race. We're not. They would like for us to know that, they would like for people to know that we are. And we're just not. Yeah. No, not only the mayor, he called me a racist, by the way. Can you imagine that? I find myself having to defend everybody. The Chinese, the Asian, the white, the Hispanics, the blacks. I find myself defending everybody because of the racism. But anyway, I just wanted to add that in. Thank you.
Well, everyone, just in case you didn't realize, there's some food in the back. Help yourselves. There's drinks on the bar. All the candidates that are here tonight, you've heard them all speak. They need our support to get this MAHA vision off the ground. The clipboard, going back to the clipboards on the table, there's a second clipboard. Being at this meeting does not mean you're a member of the Donald J. Trump Kings County Republican Club. What it means is that you came to the meeting, you saw what we're about, and you got to hear people speak. Every month we're going to have one of these meetings. Every month we're going to have people that go across the aisle. We're going to have Joanne Ariola, City Council. I'm going to try to get us Democrats and Republicans that talk about common sense, that can come to this table and bring us common sense ideas. I'm a firm believer that our government is evil. All government is evil. This is not my quote, right? That quote dates back to Thomas Paine, right? Like, government, this country was founded by men and women who just wanted to worship their religion in peace without any government interference. I don't want anyone, it wasn't founded on capitalism, it wasn't founded on people wanting power. It was founded on people who wanted to worship their God in peace. And that's where we should bring Brooklyn back. Let people live their life how they want to live in peace, right? If people, my choice until it was government's by government's choice, right? So all of the women, the actual women in this room, for 60 years, the government's been telling you my body, my choice. And all of the women in this room who didn't want to be vaccinated were told you're wrong. You sold your body to government power, and that's what government did. They took government power and said it's government's body, government's choice. Women, men, we need to take back just two basic elements, men and women, right? We need to take back common sense. So going back to the form that government is evil, government is such an evil that if we don't continually, aggressively fighting back with our democratic powers, we will all be gone. We will all be forgotten. We will all be living there. We will all be living in Venezuela. Like, I don't understand how common sense doesn't dictate, and people see that people are escaping, and they're coming here to make it what they're escaping. It doesn't, the logic isn't there. Socialism's a failure, communism's a failure, it's a 100-year failure. You cannot point to a single example in world's history where communism has been a success. It's never gonna be a success. Socialism is never gonna be a success. Like, we need to stand ground, stand firm on our liberties, because what's successful is loving your God. What's successful is individual responsibility. When you give your responsibility to the government, you're never getting it back, right? So I stand up here, I know there's a lot of people filled with a lot of rage. What I want people to really focus on is the courage. And I'm looking at people like Rachel, people like Athena, people like Nicole, people like Isaac Valdez, people like Matt Connor. The courage, imagine the choice where you lost your job because of your points. Like, that is not easy. Many people folded and said, you know what? I'm just gonna do what the government says. We as a group in this room, I'm begging you to have the courage to get out there, get our politicians elected, get these men and women on the ballot, work together. I'm not asking everyone to commit thousands of hours. We're talking 8 hours per month. We can, look, this room full of people. Every month we need this room full of people. We can get it done. There's no reason to watch New York City become a communist cesspool. We can get it done. Amen. We gotta sacrifice now for a better future.
I know I was late, and running for mayor of New York City on the Republican line. Would I be able to have 5 minutes to speak and give my speech?
I'm gonna not tonight.
Not tonight.
We're getting ready to wrap up, but I'll tell you what. I will give you my email address. The next meeting, I will absolutely give you. It's once a month. I gotta speak to the executive
2
committee.
minutes? Because we're in campaigning signature.
It's not. I set the schedule. We are gonna set this.
2 minutes, people?
Yeah, 2 minutes, good.
Republican mayor? I spoke for Donald Trump at Madison Square Garden.
You did. I saw him.
I'm gonna stop you right there. Absolutely not. I've given you the word that at the next meeting, which is on the third Wednesday.
A month behind everyone else, a month behind Bert.
There's no.
What are you talking about?
I haven't brought any mayoral candidates here.
They hear what I have to say. City councilman, you have a senator here. I'm running for mayor.
So, I appreciate that you're running for mayor.
Okay.
I 100% appreciate it. I have a time schedule.
No problem, you said that, I got it.
Protocol, come on.
Thank you,
We have a protocol.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do you have any questions you'd like to ask? I'd be happy to answer them.
Just yell out your name.
The real Republican man.
Just say your name.
I am not.
David Rem, go to davidrem.nyc.com, look me up. I need money like everybody else. I am the only Republican mayor.
Thank you.
These county representatives, they have brand, they can choose Democrats or Republican seats. I'm the real Republican. I'm waiting right now for Donald Trump's endorsement. By the way. The left, the letter got.
It is true.
With all due respect to you, David, Jim, at some point, maybe not the next one, maybe the one after, I will bring to you here, to your people, to our community, the endorsed candidate of the Brooklyn Republican Party for mayor. I will bring Curtis Sliwa. And at that time, if somebody wants to ask a question or someone wants to have a conversation, then we'll do it. We will do what is right in the decorum, David.
What does that mean?
But that means democracy works. So, Jim, I will bring Curtis Stewart to return to you. You have my word.
Thank you, sir. I just want to bring it back to the questions about the club, and this is the first meeting, right?
Yes.
Robert's Rules of Order. If anyone's familiar with it, I'm happy to discuss them with them. That's how the meeting will be conducted. Tonight is a general practice. I opened it to the public to give you guys an idea or a sense of what we are about. On the table, again, in addition to the petitioning clipboards, there's a clipboard. You can hit the QR code to join the club. The club doesn't need your money. I'm not asking anyone here to donate to the club. I'm asking you to sign up to the club and be a part of the community. We can't do this alone. We don't need your money to move it forward, but I do need people there. I can't get politicians out to speak to us if I can't pack rooms, right? They won't care what you have to say. You have to swarm. You have to be like a group of killer bees, right? You have to come out and show these politicians you are not going away, you are not going to be quiet, and you was going to stay the path until you were all reinstated and compensated, because that is our goal, reinstated and compensated. You have a question, sir?
It doesn't say anything about the membership dues, it's join.
That's right, because you can join for free. If you want to go to the website and join, there's a citizen tier called Join for Free. There are other membership tiers that come with special additional benefits. It's all online, you can look it all up. I'm happy to discuss it afterwards. I did not bring anybody into this room to ask you to join up and pay money. I don't want your money. I want you to join the club. I want you to be a participating member. I'm going to ask Rachel. Rachel's going to stand up. She's going to talk about our social media performance and what we need to get done. Thank you, Rachel.
The intention of speaking was what I said earlier, but also what I completely forgot, that I really want to grow our social media account. My focus is Instagram right now because that's been the easiest platform for me. I also don't have Facebook, but once things are on Instagram, we can move them around much more easily. And so we would like to do a series of member profiles. So if you decide to become a member and you don't mind having your picture up and you don't mind saying a few words, please see me and I will get that going. And you can just kind of say, you know, what your goals are and why you joined and what you hope to get out of it and you know, all those great things.
I need to at this point properly and thoroughly embarrass you, okay? So, you know what? This is, if I may, this is literally what it's about. By the way, to my right is the chair of the Kings County Conservative Party, Fran Villamarone, who's also for the people who seek to divide us, as Jim has spoken about many times. I want you to take a look at who we are in this room, where we're from and who we represent. Every political party, every area of the city, every area of Brooklyn is here right now. So I'd ask you one thing, because I am unbelievably proud to be here, regardless of what party it may be. I would like us, if it's okay with you, to all stand and give Jim Wagner and each and every one of us a round of applause.
That being said, if anybody has any questions, we're happy to address them. Otherwise, eat up that food and introduce yourself to each other. If you have any